ProWrestlingSheet.com.
Welcome, everybody, to a special episode of Collider Body Slam Raw and SmackDown Live Recap. I am one of your hosts, John Rocha, joined as always by the head of Pro Wrestling Sheet.
What's
Ryan
up,
Satin.
guys? How's it going?
Ryan, we had to adjust this show because we had some stuff going on in studios yesterday. So for those of you who were asking us, like, where's a Raw recap? This is going to be an abbreviated Raw recap and then into a SmackDown recap. So a lot of it's going to go on, and that we had to do that. So.
Yeah, I was actually surprised at how many people were disappointed they didn't get it. They were like, hey, man, where's our recap, dude? So thank you to all of you guys who feverishly wanted it that much. I apologize that we couldn't get it out this week, but I love that you guys are enjoying the show so much that you really were angry at us for not putting it out.
You're like,
there
where are
this
these
week?
guys who are going to agree with what I have to say and going to say it loudly? Damn it!
Well, I think that repetition is like a consistency is key for any kind of show. Like I think I get frustrated when I start getting into a show and then all of a sudden there is a new episode of it. I completely understand. If I could have done it differently, I would have. But it feels weird also putting one out at like 7 o'clock at night or something like that. So this would be better.
Yeah. So we're going to do some highs and lows of Raw, and then we'll get into a more of a in-depth exploration of SmackDown. But first, let's start. Ryan, what was your overall impression of Raw? What stood out for you? They really focused on Shield, on AOP, on some more on Ziggler and McIntyre. So, and then the Brie Bella situation. So there's a lot to cover here. What's your overall impression of the show, of this episode of the show?
I didn't love this week's episode of Raw.
Okay.
I just kind of, and I think it's just the Shield thing for me.
Yeah.
I think the Shield it just kind of feels like we're going backwards a little bit.
Okay.
And
the Dean Ambrose stuff didn't excite you, even though everyone's been calling it and they've kind of alluded to it?
Yes, that did. That did. I like that. I liked all those things. But also at the same time, like, I, as a longtime wrestling fan, know that if they're foreshadowing it that much, it's not going to happen right away.
Right.
Like, there's no way he's instantly turning heel because the other guy was like, well, hey, they didn't text message you or you were injured or whatever.
Yeah,
so, I think that I was watching it thinking, like, they're almost foreshadowing it too much to where I know it's not going to happen, one. And B, I'm like, is it ever going to happen if they're foreshadowing it this much? Like, are they just doing that because they know they're not actually ever going to turn Dean heel because they know the Shield is a money-making tandem?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, they broke the Shield up once, so I could see them doing it again.
Sure.
I don't know what it is for me, but between the Shield, just kind of like Shield overload and, the awkwardness of that 6-woman tag match with Brie Bella and Liv Morgan incident, which we did discuss in detail since we couldn't do a recap. You can check that out on the YouTube channel. For those of you who are listening to audio, it's youtube.com/c/wrestling sheet. We got like a 10-minute video on there where we, Rocha and I, discussed how we felt about all of that. But still, the match itself, it was just hard to watch.
Yeah.
It was hard to watch, and it really kind of like left a sour taste in your mouth while watching it. Because you're like, oh man, I hope she's okay the whole time. Which now we know, since we've done the video, that she wasn't okay. I mean, obvious she wasn't okay while watching it. But WWE has now said that she suffered a concussion.
Yeah.
It's unclear when she's going to be back in the ring, which means who knows if she's going to be back in time for Super Showdown at this point. I'm obviously working on it. I hope that she is. But I mean, God, Super Showdown's in isn't it like in a few weeks, right? It's like
it's real close.
What's the date? It's coming up close, so I would imagine she's probably not going to be cleared for that, and they're going to have to make some changes there. But we shall see. What did you think about the show?
I thought it was making an attempt to do something different, right? With the idea of no one saw the Authors of Pain being added into this match. Corbin announcing it, and I saw some other analysts saying that was their way of kind of trying to go up against Monday Night Football by announcing that he'll have 2 mystery partners so people can stay tuned or DVR it. But that's the whole thing.
Christian came to me now and he's like, "Hey, I watched Raw last night," and I was like, "It's Wednesday."
Yeah.
And he was like, "Well, watching it on Tuesday night is good for me," and I was like, "Okay, fair enough."
Yeah, you have a little bit of time from it. But overall, I appreciated what they were trying to do creatively. I just didn't 100% think it was pulled off effectively overall.
Yeah, because I didn't want to hate on it because I really don't want to.
Because they're trying something new, and you want to applaud that.
Agreed.
But is it the right thing?
I think that's how I felt while watching it. I just had this, and it's similar to what I said before. It's this disconnect while I watch it, where I'm just like, I understand this is what's being presented to me. They've really got to figure out how they're going to handle the audience lately. You know, I mean, I mean, and we'll talk about this during SmackDown, but I mean, there is a disconnect between what they're offering and what the fans want. And I understand that WWE is making boatloads of money, that their stocks are way up, that they don't really necessarily care because they're making money, ton of money still.
They don't have to listen to us.
They don't have to listen to what the fans are saying. But it's just like, even, and we're going to get into it, but even like the Becky thing, you know, that's on SmackDown. How do they expect anyone to boo her for that?
Right.
I mean, she's doing cool, badass shit now. Yeah. No one's gonna boo that, you know. And I loved it. Becky has become probably the most entertaining character. Probably not the most entertaining is a good word, but she's become one of the best characters to watch on TV because she's a badass. She's one of the only badasses in WWE right now, besides Samoa Joe, who is beyond badass. He is scary right now, which we're gonna get into. But on Raw, on the Raw side of things, it's just like, there was like a disconnect for me the whole time. But I will say, I like that the Authors of Pain were given a little bit of a push here, as opposed to beating up, local guys or enhancement talent.
Yeah, the squash matches.
I like that they were up against tough competitors. Yeah. I think that in order to be taken seriously, that is important because they have been kind of brushed aside until Drake Maverick kind of took them under his wing lately, however you want to word that. But they were. I mean, until getting Drake Maverick attached to them, they were floundering. And so I like that. They got a chance. I liked the tag match, the Drew McIntyre.
Really good match.
Really good tag match against the Revival. Drew McIntyre, Dolph Ziggler versus the Revival.
That outside move, the Hurricane Rana off the outside wall was fantastic.
Yep.
That was incredible.
And
or the DDT,
And that's hard to do considering it was a heel versus heel thing. Yeah. It's hard to...
But it seems like they're pushing the Revival into the face category.
You think that what's going on here?
I think that's what they're slowly moving them into, because I think they don't need the Shield to occupy that face section now. They need someone else to go up against McIntyre and Ziggler, and it seems like these two might be being lined up to do that while these other guys are handling stuff with Strowman and all that stuff going on down there. And if the breakup happens, then you're not going to have Ambrose and Rollins as your tag team champions when the breakup happens. So to me, it seems like they're laying that groundwork for the Revival to be the face. Plus, they're doing those homages to old tag teams. Had little Road Warrior and Hawk stuff going on. This stuff. So I think it's their way of kind of getting in with the fans a little more on the face side.
I almost feel like WWE right now is in this phase of where, without John Cena being a constant presence on the show, where they're kind of moving every character into the gray area. They don't really want anyone to be heel or a face. They want all of them to make money, is what they want. And I do think that does create some of that disconnect. I think that is part of where things start to get a little less interesting when everyone is in the gray area. Then who do you cheer for? Who do you boo? Like who? If everyone is torn on who they want to boo and who they want to cheer, I don't think that's as entertaining of a viewing experience as a TV viewer. Like you wouldn't see television shows having every single one of their characters fall in the gray area where like, well, this person's bad sometimes and good sometimes. Like I don't know. It's hard to follow sometimes.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with you. And that's what the swings keep happening over and over again throughout the show and episode to episode. You know, you don't know what's going on. And I watching the Ruby Riot, watching the Riot Squad versus the Bellas and Natty, you could tell the crowd was kind of on the Riot Squad side for some of it. And I was just like, ooh, what's happening here? What is this all about? And maybe the WWE is trying to train the crowd to not necessarily see good versus evil or face versus heel in the ways that they had come back to, that they had in the 80s, kind of walked away from the Attitude Era and then came back to, obviously, with Cena and everything else. So I wonder if they're maybe trying to do a new version of the Attitude Era where you've got people playing both sides. It all depends on the situation and the circumstances. And like life now.
I think that, honestly, when I watch the show, that's 100% how I see it. When I watch the show, I feel like, just like you said, with life, like with the way social media is, you know, like there are people that some view as bad and some view as good, and some people are like, well, I'm not really sure, you know?
It's insane how many defenders there are of people that in the old days you would think, no way, this is a terrible person, push this person out. There's now this vocal minority or majority that supports a person that would normally not get a shot at that. So you see that being reflected in wrestling.
Well, even you know, like on social media, you're in a battle a lot of times, you know?
Yeah.
But
I go to toe-toe.
But because it's important to you, you know, like you feel like, and I get it, you know, like I was doing the same thing for a while. I've tried to stop doing it as much, but you know, sometimes you feel like you're looking at like a barrel of water and like this side is filling up and you need to help fill up this side or like the balance is off, you know, like you have to, you know, you have to you have to spread the word that you think is the positive word. So I completely get it. And I do think that is reflective in WWE right now of like, they love switching the pendulum on people. Like, you know, Braun Strowman's a face one day, he's a heel the next. You know, they're having them say things where you're like, well, that's not really a heel. I mean, that makes sense with Becky Lynch. You're like, that makes sense what she's saying. What she's saying is something that a lot of people have dealt with in their lives. So I think that they are trying to do that. But I don't know if I feel like necessarily doing that is good for television. Right. You know, like, for example, look at Ciampa. Ciampa in NXT, there's no switching a pendulum. There's no gray area. Ciampa is a dick. Ciampa is a self-centered, arrogant dick who only cares about himself, who only thinks he's a good wrestler, and it's so effective. You know, it's so effective. And
I bet he's pushing merch.
Yeah, of course.
I saw his shirt. I was like, oh, there's a Ciampa shirt? When did this happen? Oh, when he dialed in fully into that dick persona and then got the belt.
Or even look at someone like a MJF who's on the the independent scene. MJF has only been in the business for a couple years. Right. And the reason MJF is skyrocketing in wrestling right now is because he's dedicated to his character. It's because he's not going on Twitter and talking about how much he loved wrestling his opponent. He's going on there and acting better than them. He's doing his character. I mean, he's even on Stone Cold Steve Austin's podcast. One of the, arguably the greatest of all time, Stone Cold Steve Austin. I know you'll probably say Hulk Hogan is. I'm Stone Cold Steve Austin. It's an argument.
I think you can make a case. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah. And even on there, he didn't break, he broke character a little bit to go into some real life stories, but even there he was weaving in and out of character, almost like Broken Matt Hardy, where he was weaving in and out of character. And then at the end, I'm sure you didn't listen to it, but you should, because at the end of it, it's awesome. Steve thanks him for coming. Yeah. And MJF is like, man, this place was a freaking dump. Like, I can't believe I came here. And he starts like talking shit back. And the two of them start jaw-jacking, and he's like, Stone Cold's like, son, you got two options. I'm either gonna toss you out the window or throw you down the stairs, but you better get the hell out of my house, son. And then like it sounds like MJF throws water in his face, and Stone Cold's like, I'm gonna kill you, MJF. And he's like chasing him through the house, and they record the whole thing, and then he like, it's great. And then he like slams the door. Shit. He slams the door, and it's just like you can hear Steve just like, obviously it's not real, but you can hear him like in the house, and he's just like, God damn, I hate that MJF. God, never having him back here. God damn it. You think you're coming back to 317 Gimmick Street? And he's like, it's the best. If you haven't listened to it yet,
that's genius.
The whole episode is great. Yeah. But the last 5 minutes are genius because you're like, you just want to see Stone Cold give MJF a stunner. But back to the point I even Elias, someone like Elias who is so dedicated to his character and it's effective. As much as people are cheering for Elias still and getting laughs, his dedication, it's effective. Yeah, there's not really a gray area with Elias. Elias is a bad person. And I think that's why he's been so effective. And there aren't a lot of faces right now that you can get behind like that besides AJ Styles. Yeah.
But you give Elias like the funny moments. You give Elias the funny bits, and he makes them work, and that's how he gets over with the fans, even though he's a heel. Yep. So he's still beloved by the fans. He got over big time. People were chanting at him, walk with Elias. All of it was happening, even while he was being a complete jerk to these people. But the lines they gave him were the lines he came up with. Not sure who was involved in creative there. Were effective enough to get over with the fans. So he's set. So like we still go back to your original premise. This idea of a face versus heel is becoming now very muddy. It becomes way more gray than maybe it's ever been in the history of the company, and it's fascinating. I mean, we're seeing this when we get to SmackDown. Carmella all of a sudden now is a face. So
so confusing.
It's mad. And now Aiden English is a heel. He's the heel. What the fuck? So there's like just so much
Milwaukee.
Yeah. So all of it, but we should finish up real quick about Raw. We should talk about this. We did touch about the Brie Bella thing. Any more news on this?
I mean, no, I'm really still I'm tracking it. Obviously, Brie apologized. Not even apologized. She just kind of tweeted about how her thoughts are with Liv at this time. Obviously, like I said, she got a concussion because of it. Super Showdown status is in the air right now. Right. But it's something I'm tracking. So check the site. Hopefully this week we'll have more information. We should hopefully know more.
Because a lot of people lot of people want her to stop. I wonder if that's going to happen.
Brie, no way.
A lot of people are pushing harder on social media, and I don't.
Yeah, but all the people who are in the industry there's nobody I see.
Right, nobody's
in
tweeting
the
that she
industry
should be
who's
out.
like, even Corey Graves is like, hey, I got retired from a concussion. Too many concussions in NXT, and I hold no grudge over anyone.
People
like
know
that's
what they're
their
signing up
business.
for. Yeah,
it's a contact sport.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, like, obviously, safety is important.
Right,
in wrestling.
right.
You're not out there trying to injure your opponents,
Yeah.
but I mean, I've watched wrestling a long time. It happens.
Yeah.
That does happen. Brie Belle's not the first person to injure someone in the ring by accident, and she doesn't have a long history of injuring people. So I have a hard time believing that she would be going away anytime soon.
Yeah.
I will say, I think
Yeah.
one of my favorite parts of the show, once again, though, was Leo Rush and Bobby Lashley.
So good.
They're so good together.
So good.
It has become a highlight of the show that quickly. Leo Rush is so damn entertaining.
Yep.
I love how quickly he has risen the ranks in WWE, and now he's already on Raw. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
especially
agreed.
for his size.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Fascinating.
And which was really brought home when he was being chased around by Owens and by Elias.
Yeah.
The size, how small he is really it's insane.
I liked on Mixed Match Challenge this week too, where one of the Singh brothers pushed him.
Yeah.
And then he kind of took off his chain, turned, gave him like a nice close, and then still did like an enziguri to the head. So good. He's got a future, I think, in WWE.
Oh yeah, in so many ways. Yeah,
Absolutely. Before we switch to SmackDown, I do have one more thing I want to get your opinion on.
Let's do it.
What did you think about Connor beating Chad Gable?
I hated it. I absolutely hated it. Because once again, like you just said, what's the truth here? They've been jobbing for months. Years. Now all of a sudden, Connor can beat Gable. So why were you pushing Gable only to have him lose to Connor? Unless all of a sudden now you're going to push Connor in this breaking up of the Ascension, which maybe 5 people care about, and 4 of them are their parents. So, I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me at all, honestly. And nothing against those guys. Look, nothing against those guys who put me through a wall. I went to an independent promotion this weekend. Lord God, those guys will put me through a wall. So whatever I say, I say. But
whatever I say,
please just don't kill me. Just don't kill me. But with Connor, and nobody cared about the Ascension, and it's logical. And now you haven't beat Gable. Why are you putting a stop on Gable's push? It doesn't make any sense. That was how a loss.
That was how I felt about it. That's why I wanted to bring it up, because I know we had mentioned is this gonna be a push for Connor?
Yeah.
But Chad Gable has been getting over.
Yeah.
Chad Gable, the people are liking Chad Gable. He's finally getting a shot on Raw. I was like, what? Why?
What's the point of all this?
Who is cheering for Connor? I felt the same way. I just had to make sure we were on the same wavelength here.
Absolutely. And less said about the Nia Jax Alicia Fox match, the best, even though Alicia was great to do it. And her mixed match stuff is hilarious. Like when they were doing the push-ups, that was funny as hell. I love that.
Yeah,
love that.
She's been great with the mixed match challenge. Yeah, absolutely.
That's where she gets to shine.
She's so good when they put
so good.
She's just so entertaining.
Yeah.
So I love when they match her up with anybody, because she adds a fun presence to any person that she's joining in the ring.
Is she married? Does she date? Do you know anything about her love life at all?
Well, there was no. I mean,
was she
I don't
dating
think.
somebody?
I don't think. I think she's single still. But
interesting.
Remember, she was. I don't know how much you watch Total Divas. But when she was on Total Divas, her and Wade Barrett were a couple for a long time.
Oh, really?
And then they broke up, and
I got bad news for you. We're broken up. Yeah.
And then they had a whole. She kind of talked about it a bunch on there, how much she's dealt with it. But no, I don't think. I think she's single.
Okay, fascinating. I was always interested in how these ladies work their love life into the.
It's got to be difficult. I heard Becky Lynch talking about it on Lillian Garcia's podcast, which is good. She did her first heel long form interview. It was really entertaining.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, she talked about it there. It's not easy.
No,
it
must not be.
I mean, on those dating apps, but you're traveling all around the world all the time, so it's got to be impossible.
Samoa Joe showing up at your house, it must suck too to keep a relationship going. Speaking of which, let's jump into SmackDown now. This thing started off with R-Truth TV. Truth TV was really funny. Carmella with the hair change now, fully moving into this face area. They did the 7-second dance thing. They had Daniel Bryan come out. Perfect first guest for this.
Yeah.
Really funny. Then Miz comes out. The whole thing goes down with them, and then Miz gets the victory. But overall, we keep just being shocked at all of a sudden them discovering this veteran in the back who they were like, oh, we can build all kinds of storylines off this guy. And R-Truth is like, yeah, I've been saying that for like 10 years. Let's do this. How fascinating. It's a mid-carder. This was a forgotten mid-carder, and now he is central to the show.
And they gave him the first half hour of
the show.
Like, I was like, whoa, Truth just got the first half hour of SmackDown all to himself.
Yeah.
Like, obviously he had Carmella there, he had Miz there, he had Daniel Bryan, but like
it was all there.
It was the Truth show. You know, like Truth did a lot of that half hour of the work there and wasn't bored for 1 second.
Nope. Not very,
during the
very
match,
funny.
Not during the Truth TV.
Even his flubs he made work.
When he talked about the cathartic thing, and then Daniel Bryan asked if he knew what that meant, cracked me up, and he was like, yeah, but just tell them for me or whatever. Like, oh, that was so good. But yeah, dude, Truth, man, we've said it here the past few weeks now since they've been using him again.
Yeah.
He is just like a joy, just an absolute joy to have on the show now.
Because he gets it.
He does.
And he doesn't mind being the butt of the joke, and he doesn't mind getting over and getting the joke. So it's great.
And he's like 40 years old, I think. And he's got a man bun. He's like shirtless and like ridiculous outfits. And it's great. I don't care. And honestly, if you told me that guy was 25, I'd maybe believe you.
Yeah.
He's like found the fountain of youth. He doesn't look that much different than he did when he was K-Quick back in the day or whatever. I think that was his name.
Yeah,
that was his name,
man.
right? K-Quick. He doesn't look that much different than when he was K-Quick back in the day.
Yeah.
So I loved it. The Carmella thing still bothers me a little bit.
Really, does it?
Well, just the fact that she's out of nowhere a face. I mean, I get it.
They had
You're
to do
gonna
something
cheer
with her.
anyone that's hanging out with R-Truth because it's impossible to boo him unless. Well, I take that back. It's not impossible to boo R-Truth. There was a good period of time where he was actually a very effective heel.
He was.
So I shouldn't say that. But in his current state, it's very hard to boo him. He's hilarious. It's great.
Do you think you'll have a little Jimmy moment?
I don't know. I was just wondering if he's still gonna pin Carmella at some point. Like all this has been a trick. And he thinks he's just tricking Carmella to get close to her so he can pin her and get a title shot.
Oh my God.
That's low key what I'm hoping how their relationship ends in the mixed match challenge. But yeah,
brilliant.
I you can't hate it. The dance breaks.
Oh,
the dance
God.
breaks in the middle of the show.
Yeah. But it's totally on brand for Carmella. Because Carmella
is.
comes out with the leopard print, does the dancing stuff, does, like New York kind of girl, looks like a New York party girl going out to those clubs. R-Truth, yes, a little bit older, but you could certainly catch someone like R-Truth in those clubs. So all of that really works for their brand. And I think it's a smart move because, look, you're not going to compete with Becky now as the main heel on that side of the docket on SmackDown. So you got to do something with Carmella, who you built up for so long, gave her the belt, had her have some really good wins.
Yep.
So turn her face, let her have fun. And the fans love it because R-Truth helps smooth down those edges, and she plays along with it.
And I think it says a lot about Carmella's skill.
Yeah.
And how over she is, even though people love to give her crap as well. The fact that just in one night she was able to say, okay, I'm going to act like a face now, and everyone was totally cool with it and cheering for her.
Yeah.
I guess it says a lot to how much people wanted to cheer for her, even though people were like, oh, she's the worst. Why was she champion? But like the second she wanted you to cheer for her, you did.
You went right in.
You went right into it.
Yeah. Mandy had a great thing on social media. She's like, if you watch everything I do and you commented on it, guess what? You a fan, bitch. And I was like, oh, that's a great retort.
Instant retweet when I saw that
Yeah,
one.
did you? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That one, I was so on board with that one. Because it's true. If you're following everything someone does, then technically you're a fan, even though if you're just sitting there hating on them.
Yeah. I'm a fan of Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville.
Only because I don't know if it'll get brought up here. I love the segment they showed later in the show. I personally am loving the team of Naomi and Asuka.
Yeah, it works.
But the quick segment they showed, the backstage segment, where she was like saying how much she loved Naomi's hair, and then when Mandy and Sonya walked up and Mandy went to touch Naomi's hair, and then Asuka slapped her, don't touch her hair, don't touch her hair. I was dying. Oh man. Yeah. I think it's crazy how much how entertaining Asuka is.
Yeah.
Asuka's, I know that everyone wants to see this undefeated badass Asuka that we became accustomed to, but she's also incredibly funny when you watch her. Yeah. Like she's great at turning on the comedy. I mean, the stuff with Miz, hilarious. The stuff with Naomi, hilarious. So I'm really okay with her being kind of, pushed a little bit aside right now and doing this thing with Naomi and kind of waiting in the wings until they're able to turn, until she's like, no, I'm over this. I want that title back.
Yeah, we've seen this with the history of Japanese wrestlers, Ryan. They have an affinity for comedy. It works because they have these outrageous characters that they create on that side of the water in Japan. So bringing that over to America, they get comedy, they get the beats, and we see them being used multiple times. I mean, Nakamura is really funny when he does no speak English. Like that kind of shit is brilliant.
Yeah.
And then having Asuka do what she did, which is more of like the volcano stuff that she does, is very funny. And then, and having her wrestle the way she wrestles. But yeah, you're upset that she's not in the conversation. It's just not the right time right now. Okay, we've accepted this. Give her something fun to do. This is fun to do. So I agree with you.
Yeah, especially because Becky's killing it right now.
Yeah.
So let Asuka have fun for a while, and then when she wants to, she'll come around.
Yeah, they'll bring her into the conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. And think about when Asuka wants to get serious again, or she busts out like a new scary mask thing, and she gets back into serious mode. Similar to Carmella switching it on to be a face. All Asuka has to do is turn it on, and you'll be right back there with her. Exactly. I don't think anything's being ruined by her being fun.
Exactly. Did you like the Big E versus Sheamus match? Did you enjoy that?
I did like that match. Yeah. It was two hard-hitting. It was a very WWE hard-hitting big dudes match.
Yeah, it was big dudes, man.
Big dudes. I liked it. I liked all the stuff they were doing on social media to build up the match too, where Big E was calling Sheamus a bully and stuff like that from when they were back in FCW. But yeah, overall, I enjoyed the match. Yeah. I like the feud that's going on between them.
Yeah, me too. I mean, the Bar is never going to win those titles, and if they do, it'll be quick, and they'll give it right back. But it's good to have them take the individual losses because it hypes up the confrontation when they do the tag team confrontation. So that makes a lot of sense to me. And Sheamus is a good wrestler, man. Don't forget, he was a two-time champion, three-time champion. Like he's a good wrestler. So to see him go back with Big E and Big E as well, it's fun to watch this kind of stuff.
Well, someone asked me recently, like on Twitter, doing like a random Q&A while I was bored, like which tag team wrestlers that do I think, if they went on their own, would be incredibly successful. And I'm waiting for Big E's singles run. Like I love Big E and New Day. Don't get me wrong. I don't think they should split or anything like that, but I don't see why we can't have one of them in a singles feud with New Day by their side. With that, I mean, especially with how managers are being utilized right now, I don't see why it would be an issue to have Big E versus Nakamura for the United States title.
I'd love a Big E Rusev Samoa Joe championship match. If Samoa Joe even takes it.
Big boys.
Those big boys, those three guys doing a triple threat match would be some fantastic spots. And most of those guys are limber, though. Big E does jumping out of the ring. He does suicide dives, and so does Samoa Joe. So,
Joe has my favorite suicide dive out of everybody. His suicide dive, when he does that, like put the arm. Yeah. His suicide dive is the only one, in my opinion, that actually looks like it would hurt you. Like where you go like, I would not want to have that flying at me. Because a lot of them like stop on their feet now. Or like they land on their feet when they're doing it. Like Dean Ambrose, where he's kind of like pushes them more. A lot of them, they're pushing them into the wall. And you're like, you didn't really need to dive out of the ring to do that. But Joe, like when he jumps out, he's got like his body into it. Like it's like, oh, that man is flying. That's a big man flying out the ring.
That's a big dude.
To topple you.
Yeah. Agreed. All right, we had a Rusev and Lana and Alex English is all going. Aiden English rather is all going on. So he's now turned heel. Obviously, we saw last week against Rusev. So this was a convoluted storyline.
It was
for the last few months. Now, do we have clarity here once and for all?
I thought it got more convoluted.
Yes, it did. What about that night in Milwaukee? Okay. It's dangerous to throw this in the fire, right? We've seen this before. This whole idea of did she cheat on him? Blah blah blah.
What?
And you make the woman the issue, not Aiden. That's dangerous.
It's dangerous. Also, they've tried to break up Lana and Rusev before. It didn't work.
It doesn't work. They love each other too much. They hate being away from each other, dude. They risk their jobs.
Yeah, and I, as a fan who watches Total Divas, who follows them on social media, like I don't really want to see them breaking up or anything like that. Yeah. I don't want to see an end between them or anything like that. No. So it's weird. It's a little weird. I almost think that he's just saying this to get in Rusev's head, and he's going to show a dumb video next week that's some dumb reenactment that's not actually anything bad.
Yeah.
Because who wants to see like a love triangle thing with Aiden English, and Lana, and Rusev?
Nah, it's not believable at all.
It's not believable in the slightest bit. He's a Bulgarian brute.
Yeah.
He would never lose his girlfriend to Aiden English.
Aiden English of all people.
Aiden English is a pasty white dude.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Balding pasty
white.
I mean, no offense.
No offense at all. Hey, to be fair though, Aiden English has a very, very attractive wife as well.
Does he really?
He's married to Eddie Guerrero's daughter.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Shaw.
Okay.
Yeah, who we put on the site this week that she is going to be the ring announcer for Women of Wrestling taping that is going on out here.
Nice.
So that'll be fun. But so he does got game. So let's just say that much, you know. But regardless, okay.
Nobody wants it.
Nobody wants it. Because I was gonna say this.
I like the bit, but nobody wants it.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
You know, I as a wrestling fan, excuse me, as a sports entertainment fan, because people are gonna shit on me for saying that. As a sports entertainment fan,
Yes.
as or maybe a pro wrestling fan, whatever. I like when there's soap opera storylines.
Of course.
I can't.
That's the fucking foundation of the success of the WWE.
Totally. It's how I explain it to someone. The male soap opera.
It is.
And this is a soap opera storyline. You know, Milwaukee? Dun, dun, dun. You know, so I'm going to reserve judgment.
Right.
Because I did laugh. I did laugh. And I liked, you know, the seeds being planted later when Rusev kind of walked up to her backstage and she was like, yeah, but you don't believe me, do you? And he was like, well, when were we in Milwaukee? And it was like he was still trying to figure it out, and it was like in his head. I liked it. Yeah. I'm into it. I don't have the most faith that it will get the payoff that will make me not dislike it.
Because there's two ways this goes, Ryan. It goes either, yes, she did cheat on Rusev with Aiden English, or it goes this route that Rusev starts to think that she did, starts to question her, and by question her, ruins the relationship. So Rusev becomes the one who, in essence, gets screwed over in this whole situation.
That's what I worry
and I don't
is gonna
understand that makes
happen.
any sense, because you've built all this, you've had all this time building this guy up. Why are you now going to give him this kind of stuff that's going to make him look bad on the back end of it?
It's almost like they want, if they go that route, it would be like emo Rusev, and I don't know if I want emo Rusev.
Nah.
I get maybe like he has to rise from his emo ashes and become the Bulgarian Brute again, maybe, or something like that. But I think that Lana does add a lot to Rusev's character.
Yeah, I do too.
You know, the package they showed, they did do a good job of making Aiden English seem important to the duo.
Yeah.
I love the song, how they had him singing over it too, the package, and they were showing all the good times. Yeah. And then it was like evil Lana and all the bad times and all the things she did to ruin their friendship. I thought that was really good. It was effective. But yeah, like you said, I really do feel like nobody wants it to go this way. Honestly, they should just break up, let Aiden go do his own thing. Yeah. Or even, honestly, I'm cool with them feuding. But I don't want to see Lana and Rusev break up. They're great. They're great together.
You got to give Rusev something to do. Maybe this is it for now, the Aiden English thing, and then you move him into the title picture after he's done with his feud. Because right now it's Samoa Joe and AJ, so you can't
complain about.
No, you can't,
because it is the most compelling thing in all of WWE right now. And furthermore, I would say this ending to SmackDown, we're not there yet, obviously, but this ending to SmackDown was the best ending to a WWE show in maybe years.
I think it's the best ending since Randy Orton broke into Cena's dad's house and
that was a long time ago.
That was similar to that ending. It was that kind of shocking.
But and it's been a while since I've seen that one.
Yeah.
But they didn't cliffhanger it on that one, did they?
I thought they did, but maybe
did they
not.
Cliffhanger
maybe not.
it?
Maybe
I don't remember, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I remember the segment very vividly.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to remember when the first time, like, if they cliffhangered it, because that was what I liked. And it was like, wait, they just went off the air?
Yeah.
Like, they never do that.
Yeah.
They just went off the air with Samoa Joe at his house? Like, shit. And there's been no, like, follow-up from WWE.com or WWE. So we have no idea, you know? So, yeah, I almost wonder if there's been, like, phone calls in the Georgia area of, like, there's a guy who's going to someone's house. You got to check out Wendy Styles. Do a welfare check on Wendy Styles.
Listen, hurry up. People keep chanting that he's going to kill you. keep chanting it.
We'll get that. Sorry, I didn't mean to skip ahead. Sorry.
Tye Dillinger, Nakamura, anything you want to say about this?
What?
I think that's the correct reaction.
What? Like,
and he wins?
Like, yeah, he wins?
Yeah.
What? Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe okay. Tye Dillinger is a very good wrestler.
Yes.
I just never, the Perfect 10 thing has never clicked with me.
Yeah.
At all. And I really feel like it hasn't clicked at all since he's got on the main roster with anyone on the main roster. And granted, they haven't used him very much. He's really kind of more recently been like a bit, a side player to R-Truth to kind of be a comedy act. But I just didn't. Are they going to give him a push? Is he suddenly getting a push here?
I don't know, because like you said, they kind of set him up with the act with R-Truth. But I always felt like he was off. His beats were off. His comedy beats were off. And they were like, fuck it, we can't make it work. Give him to Carmella. And then, good, that works great. Now we got to do something with Dillinger since we presented him so many times. Let's throw him into this. Randy needs something to do. Jeff Hardy's out. Randy needs something to do here. And he comes down and he interrupts the match, and then Nakamura just rolls out. It's just such a waste of Nakamura. I get what you're doing with Dillinger, but it feels like a waste of Nakamura, too, because Randy took this whole thing over. It was all about Randy.
Well, honestly, at this point, it almost feels like Nakamura and Randy are working together.
Yeah.
I don't think they are, but it feels that way considering Randy has been helping him so much and vice versa. Like, they've really just been helping each other with their feuds, which I don't understand if they're going to, like, if that's part of what's going on here. And that's the master plan. Because I was wondering, like, who the other victim is going to be. Yeah. Could the other victim, since you said in the interview afterwards that it's not the Perfect 10, it's not Tye Dillinger. Tye Dillinger just pisses him off. He's just like, the whole Perfect 10 thing just pisses me off. Do you think that maybe the victim is Nakamura? Mm-hmm. Do you think that's what it is? And that's why it's been so adjacent to Nakamura, everything he's been doing?
Exactly. And that rivalry, I think, will work perfectly. Those two fighting each other would be fun. I think you get some mileage out of that.
Yes, but my only...
You don't want Jeff Hardy Nakamura. That's just...
My only confusion is similar to the Revival and Drew McIntyre and Dolph. It's like... They are so heavily pushing Nakamura as a heel right now. And they are so heavily pushing Randy Orton as a heel right now. Who are you going to cheer for there?
Yeah, he doesn't. Well, that's a good point.
You know?
Well, I think the fans will default cheer for Nakamura because people love Nakamura.
And that bothers me because it's like, unless they were, unless this Nakamura thing was done in like a way where they wanted to add some edge, similar to the Usos, where like they turned the Usos heel. But really, it just made their face character cooler, so they made them faces again. Right. I'm almost wondering if that's what they're going to do with Nakamura, since people are still kind of cheering for Nakamura.
Of course.
He's not really getting booed.
Nope.
He's not. I know he's aligned as a heel, and he acts like a dick, but he's not really a heel.
People love what he's doing. It's funny.
He's still getting cheered. It's funny. He's entertaining. So, also, how brutal did that Kinshasa look to the LED board? Ooh. I was like, damn, dude, that's some strong style right there. Like, damn, man. Like, that looked brutal. Yeah. I'm really wondering where they go with this. If it's like a...
That's a Brie Bella level Kinshasa. I'm just joking. I'm sorry. I'm joking.
I'm wondering where they're going to go with Tye Dillinger. If this was like I almost wonder if this was like a Spirit Squad style send-off where it was like the end of Tye Dillinger, or if he's suddenly going to get a push now, because it's got to go. It's good. The way that all came across on TV, I don't know how. It has to be one or the other, because they made him look like they got his ass kicked by he got his ass kicked by Randy Orton. Yeah. Then he got his ass kicked by Shinsuke Nakamura. Then Randy got on the mic and just said like, man, the Perfect 10 thing sucks. Yeah. Sometimes there are things written in the show because there's a vibe behind the scenes. And I'm like, I hope that's not what it is, and this is like a send-off for Tye Dillinger. But at the same time, I do think that his character needs a massive overhaul. I think that, I agree. It's been a minute now since he's been on the main roster.
Longer than a minute, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think they have done... It's clear Vince doesn't care about the Perfect 10 character. Yes. He doesn't care about the character. He doesn't think it's an effective character, at least... from the way it looks, based on how it's been booked since he's come to the main roster. I mean, he's basically has become like No Way Jose at this point, So I would like to see something done differently. I would like, I know there's a lot of heels in the show right now. Honestly, I would like to see Tye Dillinger go back to NXT and just be like a heel for real and like get a new character or something. And I hate to say that because it took him so long to get out of NXT. I mean, he was in developmental for like 10 years or something like that. I mean, he was in developmental back in the OVW days, I think. Wow. So he's been in developmental for a very long time. He was like, back when remember when he was on Raw for a minute when he got super kicked? When he was Stan, wasn't that his name? Stan.
Yep, Stan.
So he's been kicking around for a long time, but I would like to see something different. I hope that this is something different for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the Perfect 10 thing's not working.
Yeah, because I mean they've assigned all these other NXT guys to be the managers of the other wrestlers. What are you doing with Dillinger? It didn't really work out with R-Truth. It could work well with someone else though.
That's not a bad idea, Rocha. With how much they're utilizing managers right now, I would very much like to see them use him in that role because he is good on the mic.
He's good on the mic.
He is good on the mic.
Put him in a suit, open button-down collar suit, coming in strut. He's got a great body, walking out there with the look and the face, everything.
Hairstyle doesn't have a star in it.
Perfect heel. Be the perfect heel walking through as a heel manager, rather. Be perfect walking through.
I I think that is a great idea. I think it's a great idea.
Speaking of great ideas, Becky Lynch, what she did to my poor Lana and what she did to my poor Charlotte. Oh, she was kicking ass all over this SmackDown episode, man.
She just walks in talking shit like, oh, you got better things to worry about Milwaukee or whatever. Like, I love it. Becky Lynch just walking around as like speaking the truth to everyone. She's just dropping truth bombs on everyone. The Lana thing cracked me up.
Oh my god.
The Charlotte thing was even better.
Oh, it was.
She was like, you take the picture. You know, you're gonna want a picture. This is gonna be a good picture. And had him come over and take the picture while she was holding the belt.
And then she put it on social media. That's brilliant.
And then I loved on social media this morning when she tweeted the picture of her beating up Charlotte last night and said, "This is for making me do all that stupid tea stuff."
I haven't even seen that.
You didn't see that? I want to make sure. It was something along those lines. I want to make sure I get it right. But oh my god, I was seriously like that. Had me, Erica, my girlfriend, sent to me, and we were both just yeah, that's for making me do the stupid tea stuff. Yeah, that's what she said. And then she posted like that picture with it. You know, oh, it was so I was dying.
Charlotte's face is perfect. In it. She's just purely afraid of what's happening. Oh no!
But yeah, that segment was great. But I, as I stated earlier here in this episode. If they are trying to get Becky Lynch booed, they are doing a terrible job.
Yes, they are.
I get that these are things classically done by heels. But if the things done classically by heels are getting someone cheered, do something different.
Yeah.
Just do something different.
Or just, or I feel like they don't want to do anything different because they know what's happening here. They like that they're getting a Stone Cold type thing with Becky, and they're going to see where it goes organically. Because like you said, they didn't anticipate when they turned her heel, and it was her idea, that it would necessarily lead to this, right? So they're adapting and improvising on the fly a little bit, depending on the audience's reaction. So the creative guys are probably excited to write this kind of stuff with her because it's not so transparently black and white. It's a little more muddled, so that's fun to do, complex things. But we saw Austin do this shit even when he was a face. He'd hit somebody from behind, or he'd do some shit, run in on somebody where they're standing there having an interview. Happened all the time. So I mean, he locked up Scott Hall in a frozen meat locker, for God's sakes.
True. So, I guess it really just depends on whether they want her to get booed or not.
Yeah, exactly. And, I
think with Stone Cold, a lot of that was done because they knew that he was going to get cheered.
Yeah, and it feels like to me they
holding a gun up to Vince McMahon's head. Yeah. You know, like these are terrible things, but we knew they knew you were going to get cheered for doing those things.
Yeah.
If they are doing it to try and create a Daniel Bryan effect, to try and create a Stone Cold effect, where because I almost feel like it's a mix of Daniel Bryan and Stone Cold, where it's like. The fans really were rebelling because they were like, no, we want this.
Yeah.
And even when they tried to put him in the Wyatt family for a minute to like damper that, and fans were like, no, we want Daniel Bryan as champion, the good guy that we're all cheering. And they, course corrected a little bit. So if they're trying now, because of what has happened, if they're trying to create this Daniel Bryan Stone Cold effect, then I get it completely. Yeah. And then great. But I just worry once again that they're in 70-year-old Vince McMahon's head, or however old he is. He's old. He's fucking old. However old he is, he's an old dude, He's an
old dude, yeah. I don't disagree with you.
I wonder if in his head he thinks that she's not being an effective heel. That's the only thing I worry about, is that like he sees it as I'm booking, if I put Sasha Banks in here to do that, she'd get booed. If I put Nia Jax in here to do that, she'd get booed.
True.
I put Becky Lynch in here, she's not getting booed. Ineffective. That's the only thing I fear.
Paul, get in here. What's going on with Becky Lynch, Paul?
I guarantee you those are conversations that have happened.
You think so?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. I do not doubt it for 1 second. Wow. I believe that they're going a little bit in the direction of the Stone Cold Daniel Bryan stuff, but I definitely believe that they've had those types 100% of where Vince has been like, why isn't she being an effective heel?
Wow.
Like, and what do we do to fix it?
Yeah.
And I think they're like, well, we'll just have her beat her up during a photo shoot in the back. And they're like, great.
Yeah.
Great. And then everyone cheered it, and they're like, shit.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Did you... All right, well, we should jump to the Samoa. I don't want to get on Lana. It wasn't a good match. That's all I'll say. She came out with all the offense, and respect to her because, but man, that was not a good match. And so I don't know how many. I want her to start wrestling 25-minute matches. That's what I want. I want to work out all the issues that are going on with her timing at times, with some of the moves that she does. I want her to wrestle 25-minute matches so that she can hone the skills and become a fucking good wrestler. It's frustrating because I think it's all there. It's all there. It's just that she's a little bit behind because she wasn't trained as a wrestler since like 15 years old or 16 years old.
Well, she was in NXT with all those women at the same time, but she wasn't being trained as a wrestler.
No, right? When Candice LeRae is better than you at this point as a wrestler, that to me is the situation here.
Well, I mean, Candice cut her teeth as a wrestler.
That's what I'm getting at.
One.
And so we need to get something needs to happen here to get Lana to that level, because I think Lana has Carmella potential all over her. That's certainly possible in terms of getting over the fan, not being a diva type wrestler type thing.
Well, it's got to be hard to start learning.
Alexa
did
learning
deep in. No. When you're already Alexa was there to be a wrestler, and then she transitioned to try and be a manager because
but she also had gymnast training and all this kind of stuff.
Totally.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think it's not like she's had that many matches.
That's what I'm getting at, though.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think that it would be beneficial for everyone if they put her in more house show matches and stuff. But I mean, as someone who watched Total Divas, which I mentioned a lot this episode, and I know those aren't all real storylines, but I mean, she tried. She did say like, "Hey, I want to wrestle," and they were like, "No," for a long time. They were like,
really?
"No, we don't want you to." And that was one of her big storylines in the show. Was like she was trying, and they were like, "No."
Okay.
And then she was like, "No, but I can," and they were like, "We don't want you to." And then it was like, "No, but I want to," and it was like, "No." And it was like, so it was a lot of that on the show for a long time. So the fact that she's getting the opportunities, I like the fact that she's at least trying. Like I don't think that she's like. She's obviously not like putting on 6-star matches or whatever.
Right.
But she's passable. I mean, she's not putting on bad matches.
Right.
Obviously, when you get that short of time, and she's not there to take the spotlight either. So, I mean, like, she's trying to get someone else over too. And she's, it didn't make me mad watching.
Fair enough. I wasn't mad. I just see the potential there. And
I
want it to be realized.
I do think that if they had Lana wrestling on house shows more and just wrestling more in general.
Anything you do more is going to naturally make you better if you have any ability to do it.
And I think that there is potential there for an effective part of the women's division if they have her wrestling more.
Yeah, you should see me host a show a year ago. It was terrible. I'm way better now. I just do it multiple times. You get it.
In the 2 months that I've been here, you don't even know, and I still am doing it, but you don't know how hard it is for me to not nod my head while we're talking, because it's just something I do when I'm talking to someone.
Oh, yeah.
I just nod my head because I'm like, I'm engaged in the conversation.
You want to make sure the person understands.
Yeah, I want to make
understanding their point.
Yeah, I want to make sure you know that I'm engaged in the conversation and not just like blankly staring at you, but then I watch back and it's like, I am shaking my head a little too much, and then people are like leaving comments like, is he listening to music the whole time? Is he bopping his head the whole time? So I promise you guys I am trying. If you look, I can guarantee you, if you go back and look at this episode, you can find times where I am bopping my head and I stop myself and like, don't do that. So I'm trying.
My thing when I first started was transition from podcast on camera was that I was constantly saying after every point. And I still say but now I space it out.
I also had to struggle with that one initially.
It's really tough.
I 100% had to struggle with that one. I'm glad that we did the show. I'm glad that we did the show on radio for the Wrestling Sheet Radio for a few years, a year, whatever, prior, because I did the same thing. I'd be like, yes, yep, and then I listen back. I'm like, I'm saying yeah to it. People get it. They know I'm listening. They know I'm engaged as long as I ask the right questions.
Right, exactly.
But it is a hard thing, and I agree. Watching back, practice, those things do help. So I noticed at least as much as you might think of that way, but the match, Lana, just like you said, the Lana of now is so much better than Lana of a year ago.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed.
Except for the confusing accent thing. And that's not on her. That's, I'm sure, a directive.
Yeah.
But shit, that's confusing.
It is.
It is so confusing.
Oh my God! What if that's the storyline? There are two Lanas. There's the Lana that slept with Aiden English in Milwaukee, who's the Russian Bulgarian Lana, and there's the regular Lana, CJ, who's in love with Rusev and married to Rusev, and doing. What if there's two Lanas? This is it. I just broke it for you, WWE Creative. Give me some credit.
Dr. Lana and Mrs. Hyde.
Mrs. Hyde, yeah, that's perfect. Oh my God. I mean, Aiden, you're so good looking. All right, anyway, Samoa Joe takes on AJ Styles, and not takes on, but like does the contract signing. But guess who doesn't show up? Samoa Joe. Why? Because he's at AJ Styles' house ringing his doorbell, literally ringing his doorbell. My God, what did you think of this?
So good.
Yeah.
Especially because, the contract signing trope is such like a done thing.
Yeah.
And we mentioned a few weeks ago when it seemed like Samoa Joe was going to do a home invasion.
Yes.
And then they didn't follow through on it. I remember I was pissed. I said it on here, I believe, that I was like, man, they like made me think they were gonna do a home invasion type thing. So I love that. Okay, because when we were talking about that, I remember I said it made AJ Styles a shitty dad because he wasn't there when the home invasion was quote unquote going to happen. You know, that he was at SmackDown and said like, who knows, maybe he hid his family away and that's why. But whatever. I remember said that made him look like a shitty dad. Yeah. This time did not make him look like a shitty dad because how would he know that Smojo wasn't going to be at SmackDown? Right. So I very much liked it.
And he was begging. He was like, please don't.
Okay, so I love the segment, but I have to get these 2 points out.
Yes, please.
One, Smojo, I am so mad that whoever's the production person who was in charge of this segment didn't tell Smojo to turn his cell phone sideways. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are filming something on your phone that needs to be seen on another platform like a television that is square, not rectangle, you put your phone sideways in portrait mode so that it can be seen by everybody. And it drove me crazy that I was watching an expensive television show where a lot of money is put into the production of this, and it was this way. It was this way. And I was so mad watching it. That was one. Two, I couldn't stand AJ Styles talking to Samoa Joe as if Samoa Joe could hear him like they were on a phone call.
Yeah.
He wasn't FaceTiming you, AJ Styles. Yeah. He filmed this already and sent it in.
Yeah.
I get that you were supposed to keep up the illusion that is what was going on, but you can't FaceTime into a television show like that to where like they can be talking. I guess you can. They they kind of do that now.
Yeah, but it didn't seem like they were doing that here.
It doesn't. No. So when he was like, Joe, don't do that, please. Don't go in my house, please, dude. Dude, please don't do that, man. Don't do it. Come on, we friends. Don't do that in my house.
Friends.
It's Wendy. Come on, man. TNA, we're friends. You know, like it was that part made it hard to believe.
Yes.
But all that being said, I fucking loved it. It was such a good segment. I had to get those two minor producer points out in me. But the whole segment was great.
So good.
It's so good. I mean, this is how you build anticipation for next week, for a title feud, for good television. Like, this is how you do it. This is how it's done.
We almost don't deserve it. It's so good.
It's so good. Like it should be on NXT. It's so good.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, that's what it feels like too.
Like, I was watching
this doesn't deserve the main roster.
How did SmackDown get approval for this? You know, when you're watching, because it was so good. I love that AJ Styles supposedly has Styles on his mailbox and had the white picket fence. I mean, if that wasn't his house, they did that so perfectly.
Oh,
I mean, the Styles on the mailbox, the white picket fence. I mean, they painted such a good picture of AJ and his home life. And this is the first time where I was watching going, that's a good dad. You know, like when I was like, as much, even though his child was in danger and a huge Samoan man might be in the midst of a home invasion, still felt like a good dad. He was just like, please don't do it, please. You know, and so I loved it. And furthermore, like I was saying here, I think it was the best ending to a WWE main roster show in years.
Yeah, that's
fair. Know, there have been good endings. I'm not saying there haven't been, but man, this is the first time in a very long time where I was on the edge of my seat. Right. Where I was literally on the edge of my seat, like, oh man, where are they going with this? Yeah. And we have to, we watch Raw every week, all of us, Raw, SmackDown, NXT. That does not happen often.
No.
There's not an often time, there's not many opportunities when you're sitting there fully so enthralled in what is happening that you are on the edge of your seat. And when the show ended, I was like, you know what? It reminded me of the Truman Show when the TV goes out and everyone's like, what just happened? Yeah, and they're all they're clicking their changes. I loved it. I loved it so much. And this was like, man, we need more cliffhangers on Raw and SmackDown again. They used to do it all the time, like on Nitro and all that kind of stuff. And I think with DVR and that kind of thing, it's a little less of a thing. They're like, oh my God, we're running out of time. You gotta. Right. I used to love when they did that though. I thought it was great, and I thought this was like the most they had done something like that in a very long time.
Yeah, it's like the 10-second black frame after in the Sopranos finale.
Yeah.
Right after you're like, what? Wait, what? What just happened?
What?
Is that the end or not?
Did this
my
finale
cable
just
go on?
suck? Oh, shit.
Son of a bitch. Well, speaking of anything, I think that's it for everything we've recapped here for Raw and SmackDown. Two things to let you know. Upcoming Super Showdown that is next Saturday from Melbourne, Australia,
There's
October
no way,
6th. And October 28th is at the Evolution. That's in East Garden City, New York. And then the Crown Jewel is November 2nd at Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. And then NXT TakeOver War Games is in Los Angeles. Ryan, got to get me. And Survivor Series is the next day. So that would be an awesome thing to be able to go to that. And then
I'm going to try my best to see if I can get you and Christian.
Come on.
Yeah.
Just got to get in. TLC Santa is in San Jose, California. So that's right now the lineup of the rest of the year. It's a lot of stuff back to back to back to back.
Yeah, we talked about this on Wrestling Sheet Radio on Friday of just like, it's a lot of pay-per-view overload. It's like,
it is.
And even watching Raw this week, and kind of SmackDown last night, they didn't really hype Evolution that much.
Yeah.
They mentioned Super Showdown. I heard Crown Jewel talk, kind of, but I didn't really hear a lot of Evolution
We're about
talk.
to enter into the month of Evolution, and if you're not going to start pumping up these matches and playing out the storylines to let these matches have some life, I think you're going to have a flaccid paper.
Because when is Super Showdown?
It is the 6th, the next Saturday. And then Evolution is 3 weeks later on the 28th.
Oh, Evolution is 3 weeks after Super Showdown. Okay. All right. Well,
There's
then
a little bit of a break.
Maybe I'll give them the benefit of the doubt.
But they're going to hype up the Crown Jewel stuff at the same time as they're hyping up Evolution because Crown Jewel's 4 days later. Or 5 days later.
It's like, okay, we're hyping up the women's show, but also the men's show where we're making
no
the
women
money,
can be.
where no women are allowed.
Evolution. Anyway, all right. Well, thanks everybody for watching this week. The Collider Body Slam Raw and SmackDown recap. Ryan, tell them all the things they need to know.
Okay, well, you can find me at Ryan Satin on social media. It's ProWrestlingSheet.com, at Wrestling Sheet there. That's where all the breaking news stories are going. I actually have a few people on trial right now, so I'm trying to get some staff going. I'm trying to get more production, more content up. So please keep your patience there. I'm training people, so I'm trying my best to train people while also doing these shows. But make sure you keep checking the site, ProWrestlingSheet.com. Also, if you're listening to the audio of this, go check out the YouTube video, the YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/C/Wrestling Sheet. That's where all our recaps are. That's where Wrestling Sheet Radio is. That's where our news videos go. So if you're not subscribed, you're definitely missing out on additional content. Also, if you are watching the video of this, go check out the audio feed, the podcast feed. Podcast One, iTunes. There's a bunch of shows on the Wrestling Sheet Radio feed. There's these recaps. There's Best of the Rest with Aaron Turner and Rachel Sam Evans. There's Top 5 with James McKenna and Kevin Silva. And that show has gone through a little bit of a change once again where because we talk about Raw and SmackDown on here, because Best of the Rest handles everything else, they're now doing things a little bit differently on there. They're now doing lists, like top 5 lists of just kind of more general things. Last one was managers. I think the next one is going to be 6-man tags in WWE or something like that.
Okay.
So make sure you guys subscribe there. There's a bunch of good audio content. And just keep supporting, keep sharing, keep liking the videos, keep helping us out. It really helps me out a lot, helps the site out, and honestly keep giving your positive feedback. I mean, the fact that so many of you were giving me shit for not doing the Raw SmackDown, for giving us shit for not doing the Raw recap, it warmed my heart a little bit. So I like that you guys are enjoying the show. So keep commenting, keep replying, keep tweeting. I like it a lot.
He's a loving man. All right, thanks everybody. Well, you can follow me at the Rocha Says on Twitter and on Instagram. And do want to say one last thing. Big shout out to Papa Don for getting me to that burger Bumps and Bruises independent event this weekend. Had a really great time. Hey, listen, if you want me to come or Ryan to come to your independent, I'm sure Ryan gets invited all the time, so it's new for me. If you want me to come to one of your independent events, let me know. Reach out to me. You can reach out to me at john.rocha@collider.com and let me know what event you've got going on. Because I had a great time. And shout out to Ken Knapsack who took me with him.
You haven't been to PWG yet out here?
I've never been to
or
PWG.
Lucha Vavoom?
I would like to go to this woman's thing that's happening on Women of Wrestling. Or I would
The
love
Wild
to see
taping?
it. The Wild taping. I'd love to go to that.
Have you been to Lucha Vavoom?
No, I've never been to Lucha Vavoom.
You got.
I got to go to that.
We should go to Lucha Vavoom. I haven't been to Lucha Vavoom either, and I've lived in LA for a long time. And people always talk about how great it is. We should go to that. We should
everyone
go
says
sometime.
that. All right, there we go. As Latinos, we should go.
I know,
damn
that's
it.
why I say that.
Caracho. All right, thanks everybody for watching this week. We will talk to you next time on Collider Body Slam.
ProWrestlingSheet.com.